Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Rose Tarot and Astrology. I am your host, Mel Rose, and today is Monday, October 14, 2024. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for spending this time with me. And thanks also for checking in on your regular current astrology. As you know, as above, so below. So if we can get an idea, a clue, a hint, an inkling as to what kind of energies are at play on a universal level, well, we're part of the universe, so we know what kind of energies are at play in our own lives, and that gives us a leg up in terms of knowing when surprises might be headed our way, new information might be headed our way, frustration, opportunities, and I'm so glad you're here with me and for me for that. So again, thank you, and if you haven't already, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Say hello to me so that I can say hello back to you, okay? Now, I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are feeling very happy and well and loved and blessed and whole and supported. I can say that here in beautiful Lee Summit, Missouri, I feel very happy and well and loved and blessed and whole and supported. It's a gorgeous morning outside. It's autumn. The leaves are about 1/3 off of the trees. There's still a lot of green out there, as you can see. It's 41 degrees, so it's nice and cool. I've got the window open so I can feel that chilly air coming in. Just beautiful, and just beautiful to be here with you. So let's get into the astrology. The sun is in Libra today, and we're entering that last 10 days, the last week or so of the sun in Libra now. So it's a good time to be looking back on how the sun in Libra has treated you. Have you been able to find the balance, negotiate for yourself a peace in your relationships with yourself and others, with the stuff and things that you like, love, and can't get enough of? Have you been able to make it so that you feel as though you're giving as good as you get and getting as good as you give? Okay, so this is also a week to be wrapping up those negotiations. In situations where you realize there's an imbalance and it needs to come back into balance, go ahead and have those conversations, or make the adjustments in your plan that you need to. And the moon is a waxing gibbous in Pisces today. So the moon will be full on Thursday. That's coming up very fast. And it's going to be a full moon in Aries, but right now the moon is in Pisces. It's waxing gibbous. So we are still working toward wrapping up some of those accomplishments that we wanted to make in time for that full moon. Okay, so we want to have some achievements. We want to have some stuff done in time for that full moon. So that at the full moon, we've got a culmination that we can celebrate, pat ourselves on the back and say, well done. I'm so glad you made it. What's next, right? So with the sun in Libra and the moon in Pisces, moon in Pisces is a very deeply felt moon in Pisces is a very spiritually connected kind of moon. So if you're feeling a little more spiritual today, or if you're feeling just a little bit more of all of the energies and vibrations around, if you're feeling a little more emotionally or intuitively sensitive today, that would make sense. And with Libra, sun, and moon in Pisces, it's, feeling again that balance, feeling that give and take, and making sure that we feel as though we're giving as good as we get. Okay, Mercury just moved into Scorpio yesterday, where it joins Venus, which is also in Scorpio. So these Scorpio vibes are starting to come on strong. The sun is going to move into Scorpio next week. So that's also a very deeply felt, deeply intuitive vibe. And, it's a vibe that's okay with things being a little dark. It's a vibe that is about looking under, behind, and beneath what is apparent to us, so that we can get to the reality of these situations, right? And then Mars is in Cancer, also a water sign. So with Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all in water signs, it's a very emotional, very felt, very heartfelt, and very intuitive kind of day. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you're feeling a lot, you wouldn't be alone. We're all feeling a lot right now. And I think it really comes back to that sense of balance that we have. And it has to feel balanced. It needs to feel balanced, because when it isn't, when we're uncomfortable because it's not balanced, then it's distracting. It distracts us from our goals and our sense of purpose, right? So last week was a big week, and I'm just going to name some things that happened, and just to sort of demonstrate how big it was. Venus was trine to Mars. Mercury was trine to Jupiter. Jupiter went retrograde, Pluto went direct, Mercury had some aspects. Everybody had some aspects with Chiron, but Jupiter actually had a sextile with Chiron, which is something that we're going to be feeling for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's going to hold together for a long time. And then Mercury was square to Pluto. Before yesterday, it went into Scorpio. So Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. It's like Mercury had a conversation with Pluto about transformation and change and how things get turned over so that we can see the truth of the matter. And then it goes into Scorpio, where it's going to really start doing some investigative work. Our intellect is going to start thinking again about what's under, beneath, and behind things so that we can really suss out the truth of the situation and make a solid plan going forward. So that's all stuff that happened last week. Some very positive vibrations. Jupiter and Pluto pulled a lot of attention because they were going retrograde and direct respectively. And when planets, especially those big outer planets, hold still in the sky, they draw a lot of power and attention. So if you saw some expansion, if you saw some new opportunities arise in your life, if you're seeing or feeling a greater sense of expansion, that would be Jupiter going retrograde, right? It might have to do with that. It's also Jupiter sextiling Chiron after it goes retrograde. It's sort of like getting some insight, getting an expanded sense of insight in regards to the healing that we're trying to do. And then Pluto went direct in Capricorn. It's the last time Pluto goes direct in Capricorn for 200 years. This time, I swear, honest to goodness, right? And it's going to move on into Aquarius in November. So we will never see Pluto direct in Capricorn again after this. It's a pretty momentous time. I see Pluto's final days in Capricorn very much in a lot of the conflict that we see in the world, a lot of the death that we see in the world. Pluto is, after all, the god of the underworld. A lot of the destruction that we see of buildings, of cities, of monuments, of institutions, that's Pluto in Capricorn doing its business, knocking down things that no longer will stand up and support us. Okay, so that when Pluto moves into Aquarius, we can think in a more systemic way, and we can think about things in terms of making sure that our institutions support everybody, because that's Aquarius. It's a very Aquarian vibe to include everyone, to want everybody to see the same kind of uplift and opportunity. And that's what we're heading for. So this old stuff is being destroyed, and it's tragic. It's terrible that there's so much conflict and war in the world, but I promise you things are going to get better. Okay, so that was last week. And then biggest of all last week, just last night, was the sun trining Jupiter. This is a very fortunate, okay, this is about your sense of purpose and your work in the world. And Jupiter, that sense of expansion, that idea that you can have more of what you wish you could be, do, and have. Okay, so the bigger and better is always available to us, and especially when the sun is trining Jupiter, even if Jupiter is in retrograde, it's just the sun is trining Jupiter, and that's a very fortunate kind of signature, and it's going to ring for us like a bell throughout this week, okay? So with the sun in Jupiter, I want to let you know that today the sun is squaring Mars, and that's a little frustrating. That's a little bit like I'm trying to work toward, I have things that I'm working on that I'm trying to make progress. And with that square to Mars and Mars being in Cancer, it's just a little frustrating. Things might go a little bit slower than we would like them to be. But the square is always like, are you going to let that stop you? Right? So don't let it stop you. It's just a bump to get over. It's just another little frustrating roadblock that comes up that you can say, oh, I've been here before and I know how to handle this. Click, 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 zoom, 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 whatever you've got to do to make the progress that you've got to make. It might take a little more effort, but that's just one of the signatures for today. Venus is also opposing Uranus today, and that is a little bit of a challenge as well, because Uranus brings surprises, it brings changes in perspective, it brings sort of upgrades technologically, but also just dawning realization. Venus is that personal part of us that likes, loves, and can't get enough of those things that we like, love, and can't get enough of, and those people, those places, those situations. So it's almost like we're drawing in the things that we like, love, and can't get enough of. And Uranus is out here going, surprise! It's not going to be what it seems. You might think you're getting what you like and then find that you don't, or you might you might change your mind about what you want right before you get what you wanted 2 seconds ago, right? That kind of vibration is coming in today. So it might be a little frustrating. It might be a little bit of like realizing things that you maybe didn't want to see change, that kind of thing. But remember that the sun is still trining Jupiter this week. So the overall vibe is positive, even if today things get slowed down or we get some surprises in our day. Tomorrow, the sun, Venus is going to trine Neptune. So that's something we're already coming into, and we've been feeling for a moment. In fact, Venus trine Neptune, Venus is also still trining Mars, and that means Mars is trining Neptune. So we have a grand trine in the sky. That's grace. That's allowing us to, have the things that we need come easily to us. And it's also a matter of protection. It's almost like you have divine protection in water signs. Okay, so it's emotional protection, and that tells me look out for things for real. Look out for things and how they feel to you, how they feel physically to you, emotionally to you, what you intuit about them. Pay close attention to that, because there's a lot of potential for information, especially about the way we relate to other people, to come in and allow us to step up our game a little bit and make some good connections. Okay, that's tomorrow. And then Thursday we have that full moon in Aries. It's a moon on fire. And the full moon in Aries is a great, it always happens during Libra. Aries is my sun sign, so of course I have a natural affinity for it. But the full moon in Aries is very much about initiative, which is interesting because a full moon is a lot about culmination. It's kind of an ending, or a midpoint in our cycle, really. But it's where we get to where we've achieved what we want to achieve. And so initiative and culminations, it's almost as though the culmination we make is just the beginning, right? And it is a new lunar cycle. The moon is in Aries. It's in the first sign of the zodiac. So it's the beginning of another 12 months, another 12 months pattern from full moon in Aries to full moon in Aries next year. So pay attention to what's beginning. Pay attention to what's getting started right now, especially, again, on the emotional and intuitive level. On the home level, at home, what is beginning now that you might see come to some sort of completion next year? Okay, and then also on Thursday, Venus is sextiling Pluto and then moving on into Sagittarius. And Venus is going to leave Scorpio. Before the sun even gets into Scorpio, Venus is going to leave Scorpio. So Venus in Sagittarius, a little more adventurous, our little hearts grow wings. And we really get in touch with that Jupiterian sort of vibe of wanting bigger, better things for ourselves to be, do, and have. And then next Friday and Saturday, the sun makes some adjustments with Uranus and Neptune before next week when it moves on into Scorpio. So, and then on Monday, Mercury is going to trine Saturn. So that's the whole week ahead of us. And that's what I wanted to catch you up on. I want to say that it's 3 weeks until Halloween, which means it's 3 weeks until Samhain. And that new moon in Scorpio, which is also part of Samhain, is going to be on the 1st of November, whereas Samhain is on the 31st of October. So we have a few days there to really sink into and celebrate the fact that it's the thinning of the veil, that we're entering the coldest time of the year and the darkest time of the year. It's a really good time to be in touch with ancestors, to be in touch with your intuitive practices, to be in touch with spirit. If that's something that you like to do, it's a really good time to be sort of also beginning to be more introspective, right? Thinking about ourselves and how we support ourselves through the colder months. Okay. So that is what's coming up on the astrology today. I'm so happy that you joined me for this today. Thank you for watching through to the end. And show me a little bit of sunshine in the comments down below, okay? Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video on Wednesday.